A good afternoon to everyone and a Shavua Tov once again. I want to share with you the following story that didn't happen to me. It happened to a teacher of students, and I asked his permission to share it. He walked into shul late, and his student was sitting there with his tzitzis in his hand, kissing his tefillin, saying Kriyat Shema. And he went over to the student and said, "Good morning." And the student didn't answer him. The student didn't answer him because he was in the middle of Kriyat Shema. And this particular teacher got very upset and said, a failure of modern orthodoxy is that they don't know basic halacha. And he asked what my opinion is. I told him three things. Number one, he's correct. There are halachos as to when you're allowed and maybe even encouraged to speak during Kriyat Shema. It's learned out from the pasuk that we say in Kriyat Shema, V'dibarta bam pe'amim shata medaber. There are times that you do talk in the middle of Kriyat Shema, such as when someone actually magdim lecha shalom under certain circumstances, especially Rabbo, especially your teacher. And therefore, on that level, I think he was correct. Number two, I told him, and as a teacher, he should also teach how to say hello. Because the Gemara does say in Masechet Brachot Daf Kav Zayin that amongst the things that gorem l'shchina shetistalek mi Yisrael, things that make the Shechina, the holy presence of God, leave the Jewish people, is hanoten shalom l'rabbo, or hamachzir shalom l'rabbo. Someone that either says good morning to his teacher without being instigated, or says good morning after his teacher said good morning to him. And therefore, Tosfos says, but we just learned in the laws of Kriyat Shema that there are times that you're supposed to. Answers Tosfos that indeed it depends how you say hello. You don't say hello to your teacher like you say hello to your neighbor. And therefore in Yiddish, the common expression was, I don't go to say hello to my great rabbi, but rather I'm going to geben shalom. I'm going to take shalom because there's a certain amount of reverence that you have as to how to say hello to a teacher. But number three, I told him he made a mistake. He should not have said hello to his student in the middle of Kriyat Shema. If anything, when students are students, we have to build up the reverence they have, not just for teachers, but for Kriyat Shema. And therefore, if he sees a student saying Kriyat Shema, he should leave his good morning till after davening. We should work on talking and davening in general, but definitely the reverence for Kriyat Shema in particular. I don't have to tell people on this podcast how many times you've been in shul and people are looking at their cell phones while saying Kriyat Shema, and it's not using it as a sitter. And therefore, three things. Number one, there are times when you do talk in the middle of Kriyat Shema, not just because it's rude, but because that's the halacha. Number two, you have to give thought as to how to say hello to teachers and rebbes. And number three, I do not encourage talking during Kriyat Shema. We'll just end with the following story. Rav Moshe Feinstein was once in the middle of Kriyat Shema. Someone interrupted him. He did not say hello back. After davening, he ran after the individual with great difficulty to ask mechila. He said, I have a chumrah not to interrupt my Kriyat Shema, but the halacha is on your side, and therefore I want to ask mechila. I believe that if anything, our teachers should contemplate maybe not interrupting at all during Kriyat Shema, asking mechila from the students, because maybe the level of Kriyat Shema will go down simply because people are talking during Kriyat Shema. Wishing everyone a wonderful day.